There's Dre's stamp of approval, but this guest, like we mentioned, needs no stamp of approval. She is an illustrious guest walking through the Fleck Zone Forbidden Door. I'm calling her the first lady of the flock. Hopefully, she can run with the nickname. You can check her channel out on YouTube, Ravens Talk with Yolanda, breaking it all down. She gives you the truth. She breaks down the Ravens. She's got the law background, an actual trial lawyer. So she's the perfect person to have to talk about these things going on with our Baltimore Ravens. Of course, Dre, she's a member of the Divine Nine, first and finest, a wonderful lady of Alpha Kappa Alpha. Can't forget about that as well. Joining us for the first time, hopefully not the last, Flex Zone family. Everybody in the chat, put your hands together. Show some love for our illustrious guest, the wonderful Miss Yolanda from Ravens Talk. Yolanda, put your hands together, everybody. She's in the building. Bring her up. Miss Yolanda, what's going on?
Aw, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Gosh, I don't even know what to say. I'm almost speechless, and that's very, very unusual. Thank you
Okay.
very much for having me.
All right. I see the pink and green. Pretty love over there.
Yes,
Yes, you already
yes,
know.
always.
We do our research on the Flex Zone, Miss Yolanda. We appreciate you again.
I
We got to
see.
let you know we appreciate you and so happy you're here.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you very much for
Let,
inviting me.
let's get let's get straight to it because your time is valuable and we don't want to get charged like those lawyers be charging their clients. So with that being said, can the people who don't know who you are, if they've been under a rock, let them know who you are, what you do, and anything else that people need to know about what you do over there, covering the Ravens, and whatever fun facts the people need to know about you.
Sure. My name is Yolanda, and you can find me right here on YouTube at Ravens Talk with Yolanda, where I produce weekly content giving you a real, honest, at least my perspective of what's going on with all things Baltimore Ravens. So, yeah.
Who, fellas? Raj, you want to lead things off? I'll let you go ahead and start because I know we got a lot to get into. I'll let you start it off, Raj.
All right. I've been waiting to talk to you for a good while. I watch you and Hendo from time to time. You know, I be in the chat. Hendo's hilarious, by the way. I know you got to keep him under. You got to keep him under a leash sometimes because he go a little overboard, especially when it comes to Dafe Owe. But my question is this: how how did you get into being a Ravens content creator? Like where did that idea come from?
uh, you just mentioned it. You just gave the answer away. It came from Hendo, really.
Oh, okay.
Um, No, well, it came from Jose and Brodney from Lunch Break Hot Take, mainly Brodney. And Hendo just allowed me to appear as a guest on his show one day because he was doing I guess a promo at that time for Patreon. And he's like, hey, if you're a member of my Patreon, if you want to come on and do a show, I'm going to open it up to Patreon members. And I was like, oh, okay, well, let's give it a whirl. And from there, it was kind of like, oh, you know what? You need to start your own channel. And I'm thinking, well, wait now. I don't know about that. I'm fine with just coming on here and, kind of bogarting my way on your channel and running my mouth and everything is okay. And it was like, no, start your own channel. So I'm like, all right, there might be some merit here. Let's do it.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say, well, let's get into the heavy stuff. Let's just get this out the way
Yeah.
because this is the topic of the off season so far. So, and I want to get your opinion on this. Cravante, get your face away from the camera, sir. Okay, all right. What in the world is going on with Justin Tucker?
Listen, I am one who believes in extending grace, but I think there is a point where you have to recognize that it is what it is. At this point, they are just allegations. That's all we know. Um, and the fact that we're hearing from, like almost every day for the last couple of days, we hear a new person has come forward and more corroborating evidence. And I'm like, oh boy, eek, this is not good. But I'm more concerned about why we haven't heard anything from the Ravens. Why hasn't there been an official statement issued? I get it, right? They've got to do an internal investigation, and that's fine. But I mean, I want to know, how long did you know about this? According to kind of reports, it's like this has been going on for years. This is not just something that happened over the span of like this season. This is something that's been going on for well over a decade. If that be true, wait a minute. Who knew about this? If it's John Harbaugh, EDC, that front office, I want heads to roll because they have a zero tolerance policy. And we got to keep the same energy, right? When Deshaun Watson was in the media and in the news, oh, we had so much to say. Oh, that's horrible. He just needs to be suspended. They need to take away, revoke his NFL card. Well, all right. What are we saying about Justin? Are we giving him a pass? Because we sure aren't hearing anything about it. Last thing I'll say, I know the NFL is going to launch an investigation. I get it. That's protocol. But I don't want this to be swept under the rug. I don't want this to just be kind of like, oh, we're not really going to talk too much about this. Like, we see the elephant in the room, but let's just kind of pretend that we don't see it because he's Justin Tucker. So that's kind of where I stand with it.
Okay. Dre?
I hate to bring race into this.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Cravante. We saw you looking at it.
Go ahead.
I hate to bring race into this because you know how they say racism and everything, BS. But how much are we factoring in this? Because I know, okay, because this is like kind of like things with society. You know what I'm saying? These are things that's going on in society. But when we're dealing with the law, how do you sift through this?
I don't really know, honestly, because everything is so hush hush. Well, how they're going through it. Everything is so tight-lipped. NFL has not released a statement indicating they're going to launch an investigation. We've not heard anything from the Ravens saying they're going to do their own internal investigation. So I don't know. I don't know what the next step is, but my only concern is, if these allegations are true, then what's next? If these allegations are false, that's a very steep hurdle for Justin Tucker to overcome. Not saying he couldn't, and get his head back in the game, but so to answer that question, I don't know because everything is kind of kept under wraps for right now.
So, and I got a follow up. Is there, outside of like the backlash of like public opinion, what are some consequences that the Ravens could face with this situation?
Ooh, consequences are many. Like we saw with Deshaun Watson, it could be suspension. It could be, they could. I mean, it can even be an indefinite suspension. But I don't think that. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't been following the NFL long enough to know kind of like what's their trend when there is misconduct by players, especially that can have criminal consequences. So I don't know. But at first glance, I'm thinking ownership needs to be responsible if they had knowledge and if they kind of wanted to turn the other cheek or let's not make this a thing, then there needs to be some definite consequences to follow for them. So if it means what I'm sure some people want to hear, John Harbaugh is gone now because he knew about it. And because I've seen it on social media, like, oh, John Harbaugh, EDC, they knew about this. They need to be fired. I agree to some extent. I do. Like if that's what it calls, if that's what happens, okay. Because either you are a zero tolerance policy organization like you claim you are, or you're not. And if you're not, like, aren't you in violation of some kind of proviso in the NFL contracts that say like we're not going to tolerate any type of, foolishness between your organization and your players. So, yeah.
Look, I mean, Cravante already brought up race. We've seen this with Ray Rice. They had zero tolerance policy with him. So I agree. Keep the same energy if that applies to Justin if these allegations are true.
Indeed. Yeah, for sure.
Now, was it on tape? That's the only difference. That's the only difference.
These are questions that none of us will probably have answers to. And even like with the whole Deshaun Watson, it was just allegation. We're doing an investigation. And then shortly thereafter, we learned, okay, he's going to be suspended for however many games he was suspended for his first year in Cleveland. And that was it. We didn't hear much else. So we just had to kind of infer on our own that, okay, well, there was some merit to those allegations along the way. And whatever they did, however they decided to deal with it, I think there were a couple of settlements that happened and then a suspension. And he was able to play right after, he served his suspension. So
now moving forward, does this mean that the Ravens need to look into the draft for a new kicker? Or what do you think the Ravens should do moving forward? And Justin, what's missing kicks?
Yeah, I was pretty tough on Justin for that like stint where he was just kind of like
you should be.
MIA.
I was too.
I was pretty tough on him. And I think I was tough on him because for so many years we've held him to this standard of, almost perfection, just short of perfection, and then to see him struggle with making a 47-yard extra point attempt.
Mm-hmm.
That's unheard of. That's uncharacteristic. And I was kind of like, wait a minute, what are we doing here? And, I talked about it on my channel. Like, do we need a new kicker? Do we bring in some competition?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that what we need to do here, Ravens? So to answer your question, yes, the smart thing to do for the Ravens, because at this point, you don't know what the outcome is going to be. You don't know what's on the other side of this investigation that I hope is going to take place. You don't know what the outcome is. And it's 50-50. He might have done it. He might not have. And then what happens? What do you look like as an organization if you say, well, you know what, we're pretty confident that he didn't do it and that the evidence is going to show that he is absolutely, absolved from any type of liability. And what if the NFL says, no, we have enough evidence here to show that he is, that he is guilty? Then what do you do? So to me, wisdom says, okay, you have 11 draft picks. You have 7 original picks and 4 comp. Use one of them and draft a kicker. You have to at this point, because like I mentioned, even if he didn't do it, or even if the evidence is found that he did not do it, you have to worry about, like, can he really mentally get his head back into the game? Can he focus on the game and get out all of the distractions? Because I'm saying it here, the Ravens are winning the Super Bowl next year. So you heard it here first. So we need a kicker, right? We need a kicker on our team. So that's it. We need a kicker.
You preaching, because I think the same thing. We're gonna win.
Yeah.
So what happened this season? Can we go back to the season? I was gonna say, can we go back to the season, Miss Yolanda? What are your thoughts on the season? The slow start, then the meteoric rise, then the playoff run. Zay Flowers gets hurt. I said it. No Zay, no Super Bowl. They go to Buffalo, and I said it also. A lot of people were confident. I was not, and unfortunately, they lost.
You know what? Funny thing is, I don't even know if Zay Flowers would have made the difference. To me, and I mean, we can do like reverse chronological. I'll go in the chronological.
It's your world,
order.
Miss Yolanda. It's your world. You do your thing.
I'll go in chronological order. So starting of the season with the slow start, I was like, what is this? I just started this YouTube channel. Let me shut this thing down because this is ridiculous. I'm not just going to be sitting here reporting about a team that just can't get it together. I don't do that. Like we need to be better than this. And then we finally started to see an improvement on offense, but our defense was just kind of like lagging behind. And I'm like, okay, wait. My understanding, right, as a female, never played the sport, but just have, like a rudimentary understanding of the game. You need to be able to have complementary football being played for 4 quarters, not just your offense being way up here and your defense being way down there. That's usually not how it works if you're talking about winning any stretch of games anyway. And for our defense to kind of just be, I was like, wait, this is really bad. And I was more upset with our defense because I know Zach Orr is a first-year defensive coordinator. I get it. And we have to be mindful of that. But to me, all of those issues and the personnel figuring out how to best utilize players and what their skill sets are to maximize them, that had already been done largely by Mike McDonald, especially because we were bringing in the same players 85% on defense, with the exception of 4 players that left. Everybody else remained intact. And then we also, obviously, we drafted, Nate Wiggins. But our core was still the same. So why were we not being able to be effective early in the season? It still baffles me. But as the season progressed, I started to see something that was concerning. Every game, I wondered, what type of offense are we going to get today? And the inconsistency is what had me concerned. But I bought into the hype. I'm like, don't worry about it, Yolanda. We got Derrick Henry. We're going to be all right. But in the back of my mind, I wondered, when you get to the postseason, you don't have that chance to have an off day. You don't get to have that chance. So how we ended our season, fast forward to the end, I thought we really could lose to Buffalo. Although I just that was in the back of my mind, but I kept telling myself, we haven't lost a game since the Eagles before the bye. We're all right. We're going to be all right. But I think that game was lost. And of course, you mentioned Zay Flowers, but I think that game was lost to me. We did not win the turnover battle. They didn't make any mistakes. We did. Number 2, we could not get any pressure on Josh Allen. We could not force Josh Allen to make a mistake. And when the other team is able to capitalize on your mistakes and you're not able to answer in kind and get them to make some mistakes as well, we lost by 2 points. And I was heartbroken, and I still am. But like I said before, let's go get us a kicker in this draft because we're winning the Super Bowl next year.
Well, speaking of kickers, I gotta circle back to Justin and ask you. They hate that I ask this question on the show, but I must ask. Do you believe it was the Royal Farms chicken that caused him to miss some kicks?
Funny enough.
Looking good, special.
I told you they would hate me for that question.
Funny enough, I don't watch television. I've never even seen a commercial. I do not watch television.
You're not missing nothing.
Wait a minute. Have you had the chicken?
I follow a plant-based diet, so
okay, good.
I do not.
Good. Also, not missing anything.
Yeah, so no, that's a no for me. But I don't watch television except obviously I watch sports. Go Orlando Magic. One time for my home team. Go Orlando. Go Magic.
Look,
but I know, right? We're not doing that. That's totally inappropriate because the Magic.
No, you're fine because I'm going to circle back to the Atlanta. I'm going to circle back to the Magic.
Just so irrelevant.
So
Other than that one player, Paolo. Who do we have?
Oh, Bankero. You got
That's
the
it.
Wagner boys.
No, but he
boys.
got hurt because I had you guys.
Yeah, it's a lot of injuries this year,
A
Michigan.
lot of injuries, but last year we didn't have as many injuries. We still didn't do
Yeah,
nothing.
I had y'all going to the conference finals, but
Here's a good question. So, if you're Orlando Magic fan, how'd you become a Ravens fan?
Great question. So you guys are asking all the awesome questions tonight. This is great. I am from Orlando. And a decade ago, now, gosh, this year it's 10 years, I moved here to the Baltimore area. And in Orlando, we don't have a football team, an NFL team. So we have, an hour away from us, we have Tampa. 2.5 hours, we have Jacksonville, and 3.5
No,
hours,
don't
we
go to
have Miami.
Jacksonville. No. We don't want
No,
Jacksonville. No.
My mom is born and raised in
Duval.
Jacksonville, so I'm a little partial. I don't love Jacksonville, but that's my mom's
We hate the
home.
management in Jacksonville. We'll leave it
I'll
there.
agree to that.
Look,
I will agree.
All right, we all can agree on that. Yeah, we love the people.
Absolutely.
Beautiful people out there.
Yes. But so growing up, I grew up with a house full of brothers, my dad, and that's what they did. They watched football, they watched basketball. And I didn't really have a team per se because it was just whoever was showing, whether it was Tampa, Jacksonville, Miami, whoever was playing that day. That's what we were watching. But then I moved up here. And like I said, I always enjoyed football, like the game, but never really like, oh, this is my team. This is my team. But when I got here and I saw how much the Baltimoreans, and not just Baltimoreans, I mean, even people outside of Baltimore, how much they love and embrace, like it was a thing, like Purple Friday, like it was just, I was like, wow. And then of course, we drafted Lamar Jackson, who's home team, he's from Florida. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, I'm going to call myself, my team is the Baltimore Ravens. So that's how I became a Ravens fan ever since I've been, moved up here 10 years ago.
that's right. Stand on business.
You ain't like Joe Flacco?
Oh, Fluco?
I'm just kidding.
I didn't watch him long enough. I mean, I watched him when I first moved up here because he was the quarterback. So yes, he was the quarterback.
Don't worry, you didn't miss nothing on Fluco.
Oh, stop it, Dre. He's a Super Bowl champion.
He's a Super Bowl champion. I'm gonna give him some. I'm gonna give him some. I'm gonna give him some credit, right? I mean, and he was here for like ages, and he did well for the team, for the organization.
He did okay.
Okay.
He got a ring.
He got a ring. Matter of fact, he got the last one. So we need, that's why I said the Ravens, it's time.
Well, what do you think they need, Miss Yolanda? Because you said they could be in the Super Bowl, and not to cut you off, Dre, but with the draft coming up, I mean, what are some draft needs? I'm sure you'll be doing content on it, but what are some draft needs? Do they need to make, I think Roger and we said that he needs to make a move like he did with Roquan. He needs to do something like he did with Marcus Peters. He needs to do something like he did. They need to swing.
So I'm a big fan. I'm a huge proponent of like making wise decisions, especially when it concerns money. And if we look at all the names that you just said, how much are we paying them? And how much have they produced? Roquan Smith, quickly, what grade do you give him this season?
Maybe
I'll start. C+.
C. I'll say it. C.
And how much are we paying him?
$20 million.
Nnamdi Madubuike, what grade do you give him this season? Especially coming off of the season that he had before, which was a contract year. I'm going to give him a C. I
agree.
I was going to say C-, but okay.
Marcus Williams, another name. How much did we pay him?
Nice.
And what grade do we give him?
It's down there.
It's an F.
It's down there.
When as you call these names, like the Ravens need to, make moves like they did with this one, that one, the third. I kind of tend to disagree because I don't think that they're not paying attention well enough, because they go out and they make this big splash, excuse me, in free agency, and that free agent doesn't pan out. And if we're talking, let's win a Super Bowl now, which is what my message is for the Ravens. It's not, let's get somebody who we can kind of look for in the future and then who can help us later on. Like, I'm ready to win a Super Bowl right now. And if that's kind of the mindset, I don't think the Ravens have a really good track history, at least in recent years, of bringing in a free agent on defense and expecting them to have a successful year. And I think largely because we're not going out and getting those names. Today we heard free agent upcoming, or has demanded a trade. So maybe he's not a free agent, but he's demanded a trade. Myles Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly the Browns are not going to send Garrett over to the rival team. I get it. but they would if you right. Another one, you bring in a Max Crosby.
We've been
He's too expensive. No, we can't. That's just too much. Okay, and then you keep remaining on the hamster wheel to which you have found yourself year in and year out because you can go to the playoffs and then you are just a first or second round exit because you just refuse to invest in what you need. We did not we had one sack, and that was a half sack credited to Nnamdi Madubuike and the other one to Kyle Van Noy in the postseason, in the divisional round. Let me say, let that sink in. One. You mean to tell me you couldn't get somebody from the edge other than Kyle Van Noy? I'll call him out. Odafe Owe, I sing his praises all the time. Nobody from the interior could get after Josh Allen? So.
But you know what? You're right, though. These, teams that have been to the Super Bowl, they've made big swings. Eagles, Chiefs, Rams, 49ers. They're the ones out there making the big swings. I mean, for Ravens, you're right. We haven't, made that real impactful swing, except the year when Lamar threatened to leave. But, outside of that.
But I think Miss Yolanda said something very important. In looking at, because this is one thing the Chiefs do very well. The Chiefs don't mind letting folk go. If they are producing Ladarius Sneed, Tyreek Hill, and they still here. So I'm not saying, you got to let Roquan or any of these guys go, but these contracts need to be restructured to be able to go after, a player here and there, because the Ravens aren't far away. They're a player or two away. You know what I'm saying? And we joke, Miss Yolanda, we joke all the time by saying that the Ravens have coupon books. They got Burger King coupons because they not overspending for nobody. You know what I'm saying? Or overpaying anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll let folk go, but folks they need. But the Eagles and the Chiefs are two very good examples of what you need to do to compete for a Super Bowl. You got to take big swings, and you got to be willing to let some folk go because they're either making too much money or they're demanding, too much money. So it's a healthy medium that the Ravens are still trying to figure out.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why the Chiefs and now the Eagles are where we want to be, because you have to make that investment. So I think the Ravens really need, and I stand by what I say, they need a big body wide receiver. I know size is not a skill. I get it. But when the pocket is collapsing, play is breaking down, O-line can't hold up, who do you have out there to go up and get that 50-50 ball? Name one player on the Ravens roster who can do it right now, who you guarantee, not who can do it.
Likely.
Wide receiver.
No, Likely ain't
at
a big
wide
body,
receiver.
Bro. He is not a big body like that.
No, we don't have one.
The only person. The only person we got that's a big body would be Andrews.
He just said the same thing I said. What's up, Engraven?
Engraven.
No, I don't think Likely is a big body. I think Andrews would be the big body, but old Butterfingers over there, he ain't reliable.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. What wide receiver, that one position, what wide receiver do the Ravens currently have on this roster who at any minute can bail Lamar Jackson out and it not be I don't know, let me hold my breath on that one because this might not go the way I want it. Ooh.
And they could draft one. They could draft one.
No, they can't.
Oh, it ain't none this year, Dre. Ain't none this year.
Well, this is
this year.
Quarterback and wide receivers is down this year.
But even I'm looking even in next year's draft. Your boy, I told you who I like from the Ohio State. I think he would be a good good person. But the Ravens ain't going to go up and trade for him or nothing.
I personally don't want a rookie in that big of a moment. I don't mind a complimentary piece at wide receiver, but if I'm talking about what is one player who I know we sign him today, he produces tomorrow, that means they have a proven history because they have they have a nice resume that they've developed over the years. Where do we have that type of player? At wide receiver, we don't. So that's what I think the Ravens need to focus on, not rely on picking someone up in the draft, because for as wonderful as a person might be in college, they might be the stud of their team, but they come to the NFL and this is a totally different beast. You don't know how a player is going to be when they make it to the NFL. We've hit on some really good ones. Like, wow, we drafted Tyler Linderbaum. And even Tyler can mess up a snap or two every now and again, but like, this is Tyler Linderbaum. I like him. But not everybody is going to be that way. And for me, when you are talking, let's get what we need right here, right now, that talent to me can't be questionable. That talent needs to be definitive. And the only way that you do that is you go out in free agency and you give up some of the draft capital. That's what you're going to have to do.
What wide receiver do you think that they should go after then?
I mean, today we heard Cooper Kupp. Rams are parting ways with Cooper Kupp. I did not have him on my wish list. I said personally, DK Metcalf.
DKF. That's who I would. That was my pick. DK.
You get a DK Metcalf, someone like that, Deebo Samuel. That's who you get. That's who you get. And you know that, listen, Lamar, don't you worry about it. If they double team, I got it. Not a problem. I got it. That's what I think is an excellent compliment to Zay Flowers, who is very fast. He's, he can take your ankles along the way with him. He can do that. No problem. But where's that one player Lamar can 100% trust at wide receiver to make a play?
How do you feel about Tyreek Hill? He's somehow being traded.
Tyreek Hill is just a little bit bigger version of Zay Flowers to me. So if you're bringing in someone who's very, very similar to Zay Flowers, do we really need that? That's not to say that Tyreek Hill and Zay Flowers are on the same level. They're not. They're not.
Bringing all them kids too.
He bringing all them children too. But Zay Flowers, excellent wide receiver. I'm so glad we drafted him. He's one of the ones that just kind of, like you said, from day one was able to come in and put his stamp on the NFL. So bringing in a Tyreek Hill, I would not be opposed to it, but like a Cooper Kupp. I mean, I didn't pay attention to him a lot this past season. I don't know how he did, how many, receiving yards. Was he injured? I didn't keep up with Cooper Kupp this past season, but I'm just talking about when I hear the name Cooper Kupp, he's been a solid wide receiver. But perhaps he did not have a good year this year, and maybe that's why he's on the trade block, I guess. I don't know.
What are your thoughts on Rashad Bateman? We saw him he did have a breakout season for his standards.
He also got his money.
And he did, but it is what it is. But what are your thoughts with him going forward with the Ravens?
I like Rashad. I do. And I said last offseason, my issue is not with Rashad Bateman and recognizing that he's a great player. He is. I give him that. It was, can he and Lamar Jackson, I want to see about Cooper Kupp, but can he and Lamar Jackson get on the same page? Last offseason, we saw, as we know, the wide receivers going down to Florida, practicing with Lamar or wherever they were. And I'm like, okay, Bateman. Oh, never mind. He's not going. Okay, well, forget it. Well, what is going to happen between he and Lamar in terms of their chemistry? It was there. And one thing I'll say about Rashad Bateman, he has some drops. He does. But he can make up for it, and he usually does. And that's one thing that I'm like, okay, I appreciate you for that. Because for as great of a wide receiver as Zay Flowers is, he has his share of drops too. If we want to look at his percentage of drops, he has some drops too. But I like Rashad Bateman, and it was really nice to see that he and Lamar Jackson were able to kind of, get in sync this past season. So good for him.
What needs do you feel the Ravens need besides wide receiver?
They need a complimentary dog on edge. to go alongside my guy, double-digit Odafe Owe. They need Myles Garrett. They need Max Crosby, somebody like that, so we can really get to these quarterbacks. Because if for any reason the Ravens find themselves shooting themselves in the foot, like they obviously can, we need to have a defense, especially the defensive front, to be able to generate that pressure, create the turnover. That was another one of my biggest issues this past season. Other than Marlon Humphrey, who did you know? What name can you tell me right now on this defense that was known to create a turnover?
I can't tell you.
I can't
Well,
even.
maybe Kyle Hamilton.
I was gonna say Kyle Hamilton.
He's a playmaker, but not really a turnover guy.
He wasn't a
Playmaker,
turnover.
though.
Bingo.
Not a
I
turnover.
want the turnover machine. That's what I'm looking for. Kyle Hamilton is that. He is a playmaker. But where's the turnover machine? Like what we had in Marcus Peters. He was going to punch that ball out. Where is that player? Who's going to force some fumbles? Where's that player?
Yeah, we've been missing that player. That's the kind of player we need. I definitely agree with that.
But those are needs that we said here on the show time and time again: wide receiver and pass rush. But we've been saying that for years though about this team.
Does John Harbaugh sign an extension?
He better not. I would be real upset if he does. Because I'm gonna be mad.
Don't worry, they're gonna go down to Florida, Michigan, and it's gonna come out. Wait till that Florida trip. All that stuff's gonna come out. They're going down there soon.
They can't. He better not. That just. Because if we want to talk about NFL being a not for long league, right? And you talk about in terms of the players, what have you done recently? What have you done this past season? Well, I want to know, does that extend to the coaches? Because I don't want to just be relevant. I don't want to just be a part of a conversation like, oh man, Ravens, we are a super good team during the regular season. We have some great talent on this roster. And we are doing just fine when it comes to, regular season. But boy, I don't want to hear that next year. I don't know if I can take it.
I know Hendo can't.
I know Raj can't take it.
I need to see something different. I can't just sit here and make content knowing that, like, we just keep shooting ourselves in the foot. Like, at what point do we say, all right, something needs to change?
So
something needs to change.
Do you think Harbaugh needs to change then? Do you think he needs to get out of here? We need a new voice?
Yeah, I don't think Harbaugh needs to change. I just think he needs to go. That's what I think. I think Harbaugh needs to go. I do. No, it's okay. I was going to say, like, you look at like Andy Reid. Even though Andy Reid, because people are saying we need a young coach, and I agree to that. To a certain degree, we need somebody who's younger and has a younger perspective, a fresh perspective, and I agree to that. To a certain degree. But you look at Andy Reid. He's no spring chicken, but guess what? He has his team prepared every year. Every year. So if John Harbaugh can't get this team ready, prepared, then he needs to go. And he's shown that he can't do that. So
yeah, because I feel so bad for Lamar. It's like we're right there. Like we should have beat the Bills. We should have did things differently against the Chiefs. It's like we're right there. And then it's just so frustrating to see this team not punch it and get there,
Yeah,
when the talent is there. We have the second best quarterback right now in the league. A lot of our counterparts might say Josh, but nah, it's Lamar.
I mean, Josh is cool.
Josh who? Oops. I'm just saying, Josh who?
Our counterparts might say
Joe Burrow, Josh.
Josh. They always try to put them
Birds.
I'll give Joe Burrow. I will. He's that guy. I'm mad
at myself
because I like him. I like him.
It's like, he's such a good quarterback.
I like Joe Burrow.
Such a good
and I'm mad at
like when he had an S curl.
It's like Cody. It's really like Cody. He's the baby face you love.
I'm mad at myself that I like him, but I do. I like Joe Burrow.
I
I'm
would
mad
smoke
that
a cigar with him.
he's our enemy, but hey, it is what it is. Josh?
Well, because now the whole narrative is Lamar is 0-2 in the playoffs against him, even though Lamar has 2 MVPs, possibly a third MVP over him. They still try to say that Josh is better.
Okay. And what is Josh in the playoffs against Pat Mahomes?
Hey, look, I'm with you.
4.
0-4.
I thought it was 0-5, but we'll go with 0-5.
No, don't worry. It will be 0-5.
Lost.
It'll be 0-5. Don't
It'll be-
worry.
well, it won't be 0-5 next year. Well, it could be 0-5 next year if they play each other in the first round, but they're not making it beyond that because we're going to make sure that doesn't happen. But
Yeah.
Oh, I have my last question. How do you want Ronnie Stanley back?
Ooh.
okay.
I do. Cravante.
Yeah.
I know y'all was sliding him.
Here's where I stand with Ronnie Stanley. When you have Lamar Jackson and talking about his blind side, if you do not have Ronnie Stanley, who do you have? I'm not personally comfortable with, bringing rookies in this, drafting players, rookies, and entrusting them to protect
It's
Lamar
tough
Jackson.
to left tackle. Coming from college, it was tough, man.
I'm not comfortable with that. You saw this past year where we had a 75%, maybe 80% O-line that was new, young, either first year playing at that position or first year playing in the NFL, period. And were we not all concerned every time Lamar was out there on that field, like, oh, Lord, first, what is going on? I'm just not comfortable. So to answer the question, do I want Ronnie Stanley back? I'm gonna give you the lawyer answer. It depends. If the answer is we have a veteran option at left tackle and they, from my understanding, just are not out there growing on trees. They're very hard to come by, especially a good caliber, Pro Bowl type, left tackle. If we don't have an option out there that we can say, we know we're bringing in this particular left tackle, then yes, we need to bring Ronnie Stanley back.
I see you on your LeBron. You said no rookies, all vets.
I'm not going to say no rookies. I'm gonna say if you want to draft one later in the draft, go ahead. And if that player has some potential, and if we are, up 55-2, or bring that rotational piece, that rookie in, get him some NFL snaps. I'm okay with that. But the primary load needs to go to a veteran.
Hey, look,
I think she means at key positions.
Yes.
Rookies at key positions.
Look, like I said, I'm not mad at her on her LeBron. No YNs. She's saying no YNs.
Yeah. I don't know.
Are you cool with Rosengarten moving to left? Because that's the rumor. Rosengarten on the left, because McCarry's a free agent too, so it'll be Rosengarten and Voorhees potentially.
Voorhees.
Yeah, I know.
Raj, I'm surprised you haven't asked about your boy Ben Cleveland, man.
He gone.
He's gone.
He is
not coming
so
back.
gone.
He needs to be. He needs
not
to be
coming
gone,
back.
man. He is treated so bad.
He wasn't he the one a couple of years ago that could not pass John Harbaugh's fitness test? Wasn't that him?
I believe so.
I'm pretty sure that was Ben Cleveland like 3 years ago, something like that. Let us know in the chat. Did I have that right? I'm pretty sure it's Ben Cleveland who was the one that was just kind of lagging behind. And I think John Harbaugh got mad, and that's what I think it is. But I don't know. But no, I'm not comfortable having an inexperienced O-line. Hey there.
What do you think about Lamar going into year 3 with Todd Monken when we signed the extension? This offense could be potentially even better, Miss Yolanda. And real quick, Chuck Pagano on the defensive side as well with the new coaching moves.
Yeah.
Oh, good. We need him.
In terms of the offense, I'm happy. I'm glad we brought him back because I'm glad we extended Todd Monken because we need that consistency. However, To whom much is given, much is required. So I'm big on accountability. I'm huge on accountability. So to me, I don't just, jump up and down, scream, yes, we got him back. Woohoo, everything's gonna be fine. We're Super Bowl champions next year. Why? Because we extended Todd Monken. No, we need to clean up a few things. Offensive penalties. Mm-hmm. So going into year 3, we're seeing, from year 1 to year 2, we were still seeing a pattern of things that I did not like under Todd Monken's leadership. So number 1, I'm happy that we extended him, but in year 3, I'm looking for him to, number 1, clean up those offensive penalties. Number 2, clean up the fumbles. Number 3, make sure that you are using your players and dialing up the right plays, like that 2-point conversion. Why do we keep throwing the ball to Mark Andrews? It's not working. Do something else. So these are a few things that I had on my he needs to fix this list for Todd Monken. But overall, very excited that he's back.
Do we trade Mark Andrews?
Okay. Here's where I stand on Mark Andrews. I would only consider trading Mark if what we are getting is that one piece that we need. We talked about bringing in that big body wide receiver, that complement, who is proven, absolutely proven. That would be the only reason I say yes. But that being said, again, I'm big on accountability. Mark Andrews needs to show up in the postseason. Mark Andrews needs to show up when we play against the Steelers. He just got his first touchdown of his career against the Steelers a few weeks ago. So I'm not wanting to trade Mark, but I would not be opposed to it. I would entertain trade ideas and possibilities.
Look, you seen the Lakers, they traded AD for Luka. So sometimes you just gotta part ways.
That's a win for the Lakers.
I was just about to ask. Let us know in the chat, and everyone, I want to hear from you. Who got the better deal out of that trade? Was it Lakers?
Oh, we did. Laker
It's
Nation.
not
We
even
got
close.
we got the better deal.
Not even close.
Laker Nation.
Mavericks for now.
This year, the Mavericks.
Exactly. That's what I think. This year, if you look at this year, this window, I think Dallas got the better of the deal.
Yeah, this year. But I mean, look, we still don't know what the Lakers are going to do. They could still make some moves before the trade deadline.
They got 3 more days.
Yeah.
Look. One thing I know about Laker Nation, and Roger, you're a part of it.
I am.
We make moves. We make money moves over here.
No, well, not all the time. Not all the time.
Hey, we got 16 and counting.
We got 7.
What are y'all, Raj? The second greatest NBA franchise of all time?
Don't you start that?
Greatest
Don't you start that? No, we do great.
So who? Who's
to
the
the
first?
Boston Celtics.
No, get him off the screen because
and aren't they getting ready to win another?
Talking about second.
Aren't they getting ready to win another championship?
Yes, they won a 19 championship.
That Kango had a little too tight. That's what it is.
I don't have no Kango hat, sir.
You don't got none today.
All forehead. Right.
What happens on Sunday,
that belt a
Mr.
little
Londa?
too tight. That's what
Before we get you out of here, what happens on Sunday in New Orleans? We know the Super Bowl. We don't care about it, but do we see the three-peat, or do the Eagles get it done with Saquon and his magical season?
Again, I'm going to give you the lawyer answer. It depends. It depends on if the NFL is scripted and they want to see Taylor Swift and the refs. Oh, and by the way, the Chiefs go ahead and have a three-peat. It depends. Do I think the Eagles can do it? Of course they can. I think the Eagles have shown enough. I'm not all that believing in Jalen Hurts, but all he needs to do is manage the game. That's all he needs to do. Don't commit turnovers and manage the game. That's it. And that's more than enough to beat the Chiefs. Will they do it? I don't know.
No. It's okay. Stand on business. You know they're not going to do it.
They're going to do it.
We all know they're going through.
They're going to do it. I'm going to wear green. My other color is green, so I have plenty of green in the house. I'm going to put on something green.
Wait a minute. Now, let's not confuse the people. AKA green and Eagles green is totally different. Don't do that.
I only have AKA green. So
Don't do that.
it'll just be green. It won't be that dark, like forest hunter green that
Look,
they wear.
you see,
But it just,
look, this the closest thing the Eagles gonna do, baby. It's gonna be
yeah.
something. It's gonna be.
Well, they're gonna be drinking on water on the sideline, Drake, because Patty Mahomes and them gonna be running them around all day. They're gonna be tired.
I don't care what they drinking on the sideline. I know I'm gonna have my cup full. Me and my brother down there, Cravante, it's gonna be something to both our cups.
I think the Eagles can get it done. I do. I think the Eagles can get it done. They have an amazing defense. They have the type of players that can cause havoc. I'm going to be paying extra close attention to how they're able to stop or at least limit, contain Pat Mahomes. This is the team that can do it.
Look. I hate to break it to you, but we on this show we talk wrestling a lot, so we like to refer to Patrick Mahomes as the tribal chief. That man has not lost a playoff game in nearly 2,000 days. Ooh. It ain't about Sunday ain't about to change. And that's not a prediction.
Look, the one team that could beat them, Dre, is what? We at home on the couch. The team that was supposed to beat them.
the team that could have did it. Yeah, we went fishing.
I don't know if we could have done it.
I did not pick us to win.
If the Ravens,
I did not pick us to win. If we did make it there, no.
I feel like
got that fourth down.
Like we can beat them. I feel like we're close. I feel like we're the team to do it.
We are, and I know that we can do it. I know we could have done it, but the inconsistency, you have to do it on the day that the game is scheduled. You can't say, oh man, can I get a mulligan? Man, I didn't show up. Can I come back tomorrow and try again? No. And so if you talk about beating Patrick Mahomes, you've got to go out there and know that you can do it. And if I don't know. I would have question marks. If the Ravens were in the Super Bowl, I would certainly be cheering for them. Come on, Ravens, let's go. Let's get it. Let's get this win. But in the back of my mind, I'd be thinking, this is going to be a long night if we don't win. This is going to be a long live stream if we don't make it. But that's the truth. Because if you don't get pressure on Pat Mahomes, you're in for a long evening. And how much pressure did we get on Josh Allen? How many sacks did we get on Josh Allen?
I don't know.
So that's not going to be enough to do it against Pat Mahomes. He's got too many firepower. He's got too many weapons, too much ammunition over there, too many stars over there that can get the job done.
Yeah.
They don't make no mistakes.
They do not beat
themselves. Mistakes, yo.
They do not beat themselves.
How you feel? Well, real quick.
And that's what we do. That's what we do. Too often, we beat ourselves. So we take ourselves out of the game, not them taking us out the game. We just go in and say, let's do it to ourselves.
Really, really, really quick. How you feel about those Commanders?
I like the Commanders.
Oh, look at her.
I do. I like the Commanders. Oh, I like Jaden Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
I never liked the Commanders prior to this year because I thought the organization at the front, in the front office was a joke. I thought it was a joke, an absolute joke. They made some changes. They cleaned house. And now look where they are. I mean, all the Commanders need, I think, is one more wide receiver to complement what you have already in Scary Terry. I think you're right there. You're right back where you were last year, and then some. So
thankfully, all the quarterbacks are in the AFC because we could live in NFC Championship. We could live there.
And you said, and Cravante, you did say you wanted I forgot who you said we were talking. As soon as we did the post game, there was somebody you said you wanted.
Wide receiver?
I think it was
T. Higgins. T. Higgins.
That's what he said. Yeah.
Bring in T. Higgins. Do that. I mean, again, are the AFC North teams going to trade or make any type of like deal with kind of the enemy with the Ravens? Probably not. But they would if the price is right. But that's where the Ravens have to be willing to, like, you got to be willing to ante up the price. You have to. Like,
T. Higgins gone. He leaving.
but is he leaving the AFC?
I
hope
think he's
so.
staying still. I'm the only person think
Please.
he's gonna stay. I think he's gonna somehow stay.
No, because Jamar's getting paid. Jamar Chase is getting paid.
Yeah, they ain't paying both of them.
Yeah, Jamar Chase, they're not there. Yeah, Higgins is a free agent. Hey, Big Red. Yeah, Higgins is a free agent. He's gone. He's gone. So I'd like to see him, wearing a Ravens jersey. Will it happen? Probably not. But one can hope.
It would be lovely.
It would.
Fingers crossed. Yes.
Well, Miss
That way.
Yolanda, we kept you up late enough. How can the people keep up with you? What can they expect? I know, got some things going on, but let the people know your final word to sound off before you get out.
Gentlemen, this has been so much fun. I really appreciate the invitation. I had a blast. Even though I'm super, super tired because this is past my bedtime, but I appreciate it. It was a great time. Thank you. You can
Yes.
find me at Ravens Talk with Yolanda here on YouTube, or you can follow me over on X or Blue Sky at Yolanda ESQ1908.
Yes, before she gets out of the building, the link is right there on your screens. Take your mouse, click on it, subscribe, comment, leave a like, all the good stuff. Show love to her and the good brother Hendo. Does great content. Miss Yolanda, we got to do this again real soon, and we appreciate
Absolutely.
you.
I'd love to come back as soon as we sign that big body wide receiver so I can say, we did it. I told you we're going to the Super Bowl. We're winning it because we signed. And then whoever that name is will say, we just signed, fill in the blank. Absolutely.
We
We're gonna
appreciate
get
it
it done.
again. Thank you, Stand Up Late. Check out her channel, Ravens Talk with Yolanda. She'll be back throughout the off season. We'll have her back on, and she's going to keep giving me that great Ravens content. One more time for Miss Yolanda. Thank you again. We appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Take care, everyone.
Thank you, Miss Yolanda.
Yes, we're going to clip this interview. We're going to send it to you tomorrow so you can have it with all of the great content. We'll send it to you, and you can even put it out, whatever you want to do with it. But we'll send that to you tomorrow. We'll be in contact. Thank you again, Miss Yolanda. Appreciate that. Yes,
Take
have
care.
a good night. Once again, everybody, Miss Yolanda from Ravens Talk. Yolanda, show some love. What a way to start Black History Month. Doing it for the ladies with Ravens Talk with Miss Yolanda, joining us, staying up late. What an interview.